To welcome back to the Witches and Bitches Summit. Now that we're recording, standing by, I have Alicia, Hugh Fisher.
Mm-hmm.
Get that right?
Okay, thank you.
Go ahead and pin that. Awesome. I'm so excited because I have to use a different word for excited, because I am actually very excitable, like legitimately, but I feel like people say that all the time, like, oh, I'm so excited, but I'm legitimately excited because I was reading about you, and I recently, probably over the last year, 2 years or so, have really gotten into bees. And it's so much so that if anybody's around me, they will absolutely not harm any bees around me. Like, oh no, Daniela's around. Don't touch the bees. It's like, and my sister's like, I don't hurt bees because of you. But I am just so excited to find out more about the magic of the beaches. I love
the
your
beaches. Yeah, absolutely.
I love to play on words. So for those of you that don't know Alicia, some of you probably do, but for the purposes of those that don't, she is the founder of the Hive Vibration. And I really love your play on words, Hive Vibration. Oh, I love it. That's so powerful. A space designed to empower and champion women. So she uses vision work, accountability, super important, mindfulness, to help women achieve their goals while simultaneously learning from nature's cycles. Oh, woman after my own heart. Yes. Specifically by way of the bee. So I'm really excited to see how you bridge all that work, because I'm all about natural cycles and all of that. And I want to go ahead and just like give you the floor, because I just can't wait to hear more.
Oh, thank you so much, Daniela. Yeah, absolutely. So it's no surprise to me that the bees have come into your space within the past 2 years, as they have with me as well. Bees represent the feminine. They are the communal archetypes. 95% of a hive are all females. 95%. All the work we see being done by the bees are all done by the females. The pollination, the honey making, the building of the wax, all of it. And with the rise in the feminine, as we see in our community, in our environment, we also see that translating with our earth. And the bees are dying. I mean, everyone's like, why are the bees dying? Why are the bees dying? There are so many reasons why they're dying. And there's so many parallels as far as just trying to control a hive's population, control how the queen creates her eggs, control what they're pollinating. And so the bees are crying out, the earth, the collective, Pachamama's crying out, and the bees have been, though they are above ground, I say that they're like the feminine, they're underground, they're working behind closed doors, behind the veil. And so the bees actually came into my space about 2 years ago, when I had a big shift in my life. And I was forced to look at my life in a different way. And so the bees came to me, and I'm so grateful for that opportunity and for hearing their voice and listening to their voice, and now being their voice. So I'll get into, there's so much I can get into. So what I'll do is I'll start with the beginning. So bees, to our understanding, bees first came into this world 100 million years ago with flowers. And so we think about honey, and what is honey made of? Honey is made from nectar from flowers. Flowers are beautiful, they're colorful, they're delicate, they're sexual. And so the flower is the pinnacle of a plant. The plant, when the plant blooms, it is at its peak. So think about honey and the alchemy of the sweetness, the beauty of the earth and of the plant, and the collection of the honey, and how the bees are so intentional. And bees see flowers, and they see the radiance and the vibration of the earth in a different way than we do. First of all, bees don't have ears, but they have 3 million hairs all over their body that react to the vibration, hence the name hive vibration. And everything is a vibration. So a bee, when she is buzzing around and she sees a bloom, there is a radiance and there's a vibration that we may not be able to tap into, maybe some of us, but the bees can tap into that. And so it's a magic that they have, hence magic of the beaches, like bee witches. And so they're nature's alchemists. They create medicine, and they don't just create medicine by putting 1 and 2 together. They create it from their bodies. Honey is created by nectar and the enzymes from the bee's body. Wax is created through the creation of honey, through the sweat glands of a bee. Pollen, even though pollen are from flowers, true pollen is actually called bee bread, which bees mix pollen with their body to create the protein. It's a protein, it's a masculine, it's the sperm that feeds the honey of the hive. So there's so much we can unpack here. But as I was saying, taking it back to the beginning, there's a lot of mythological ties with the bees. Yes, alchemy. There's so many ties. And from our understanding, the first beekeepers were the Egyptians. And the Egyptians, now this isn't much of a stretch to assume, but a lot of beekeepers, holistic beekeepers, do believe that the inspiration behind mummification came from the bees. And so in a lot of artifacts we'll dig up, we'll find bodies covered in honey. Now, honey is a preservative, it can never go bad. Honey from 1,000 years old that they found in tombs is still edible. So honey, there's something about that that's long lasting, that's everlasting. It's alchemy, right? Like, and taking back bees as the feminine, what do we create? What is it that we create that's everlasting, right? Like that's our honey. So the Egyptians from the early age recognized this about the bees, and they learn how to work with the bees, not control them, but work with them in relationship. So they would take hives and carry them throughout the different parts of their land and work with them. And I think that's something that gets missed right now in our world is many times we try and control the earth. We're trying to control nature, but nature cannot be controlled. Pachamama, the Mother Earth, can't be controlled. She is in relationship. We are in relationship with her. We're beloved. And so that was the understanding the Egyptians had of the bees. They are beloved. We are in relationship with them, and we can learn from them, and we can care and tend for them. And so the god Ra, the teardrop of Ra, it is believed that his tear was honey, and when it landed on the earth, it created bees. So I think there's beauty there. In Greek mythology, bees are so profound. In Greek mythology, it was believed that Zeus, when he was a baby, he was fed in a cave with milk and honey, and he was fed and taken care of by bee priestesses by the name of Melissae. So I believe there was a Melissa on here. So Melissa, the origination of the name Melissa means bee or bee priestess. And so if you dig really, really, really deep in Greek mythology or ancient Greek, you will find Melissas. Melissas were very, very common in the temples. They were the priestesses, especially at the oracle or temple at Delphi, Delphi being womb. So we can look at the hive as a womb space. Yes, that is you. You're a bee priestess, Melissa. So the hive is, and so in the Witches and Bitches conference, we're talking about the term witch and bitch and reclaiming those words, because for most, it has a negative connotation. But the word witch, when I think of witch, I think of a woman that knows her power, a woman that knows how to use the resources around her, how to create, right? We're creators. The womb space is a space from creation, but it's also a dark space. And yes, love and light, we are light beings, and I'll get into the light body of the hive. But there's something about being in the dark space that is the space in which life is created from, and in being in the unknowing. And so going back to vibration, being able to tune into that inner vibration, to tune into the intuition of self without having to see and know, just a knowing from within, or maybe more like thought rather than thinking, just knowing. And so the Greeks very, very much held the bees in reverence. The omphalos, which is it's a clay structure that looks like a hive, a circular hive. It's found in many temples. In fact, hives really are spheres. And so it was actually in beekeeping, the masculine, when beekeeping became more popular in Western culture, this man by the name of Langstroth, that's his last name, he created the Langstroth hive, which is the rectangular hives that we see. And so rectangular, hard angles, masculine, this is trying to control the hive. And though it does work, the reason, the true space and the wild bees, they hold circular spherical hives. And the reason why they do that is because they communicate kind of like through Morse code, how we have Morse code vibration, the mother queen bee, she will listen to the bees, and she will, with the back of her hind legs, just tap the hive, tap the wax, the wax, and it will have a vibration sent throughout the hive, so all the sisters can hear. And it's through that shape, that round shape. And when we think about the womb, it's a round space, there's no hard edges. So there's so much to unpack there. There's so much magic. And again, it was recognized so early in our culture, the significance of the bees. So pre-Greek, ancient Greece, pre the Egyptians, there was a Minoan culture. And there's a tradition called the path of pollen. And it is a very old tradition passed down from mouth to ear in a very feminine way. And not much can be found online about this for that very reason. It's been under the veil, it's been underground, especially during the time when witches were being persecuted, when they were being killed off. And this was a way to protect them. So path of pollen has recently been emerged. There's an emergence, this is crying out for a calling, for a reclaiming, a remembering. And so the path of pollen teaches a remembering, like, how do we remember? Our womb is a library, and it's a space of all knowledge. This is where we create, especially as women. And even men have womb space. So it's not exclusive for women. Men can be a part of this too, but it's through the space of the womb space. And so, Daniela, again, you having the bees coming into your space, and you feeling this sense of love and affection for them, that's the calling, that's the remembering, I do believe. And that was the case with me. With the bull and the bee, yes, for sure, we do need to talk more about this. So there's a correlation between bull and the bee. It is also believed in Greek mythology that the bees were born from the carcass of a bull. And in astrology, the bull represents Taurus, and Taurus is in spring season, and bees thrive in spring, right? And Taurus is towards the tail end of spring, and that is the time when the bees swarm. So what is a swarm? A swarm is when there's abundance. There's abundance everywhere. The hive is so filled with honey, propolis, pollen. Think of like your house filled with so much gold, you can't live in it anymore. So what the bees do is they get up, 3/4 of the hive, they get up, they leave with their mother queen, and they take off and they find a new home. And this happens at the end of every spring. And thankfully here in Florida, we have spring and summer all year round. So swarms happen more than once a year. In fact, I saw 2 swarms this week, which it's a sign of abundance. It's a sign of a healthy hive. So that's pretty much the science and history and lore of the bees. And I'm going to get into how it applies to us as the feminine, how it applies to us as being a badass boss bitch, right? So bees have different, in the hive vibration, we have our programs through curriculum, right? So and we do it through curriculum. We have our curriculum by season. And the reason why we do it by season is because, like the womb space, we go every month, we as women, we go through cycles. We have our winter, spring, summer, and fall, right? And so we get to honor our bodies and where we are in our lives at these various points. And we get to do it collectively as a hive. So Ilona spoke earlier about the etymology of the word witch, and that's light worker, right? So we think about wax, beeswax. Beeswax is the first form of light that humans have used as far as like a mechanism for containing or holding light. Beeswax is the brightest, it's the cleanest, it has negative ions, it can clean the space. It lasts forever, and it can be reused. So where does wax come from? I mentioned earlier that wax is created from the bee's body when the bees are creating honey. And so honey is created from the nectar, which opens and blooms in the sun. So the wax can be a sense of like that light that's going into the dark space, because the wax is accumulated, or the origination of the wax is from the sun, from the light. So going into the dark space, going into the hive where it's dark, it holds the space. it holds a space, it creates form, it creates body, and burning the wax, it's that light source. So it's like bringing the light into the darkness. It's bringing the light of the spring and the summer, bringing the sun into the dark, cold days and nights of fall and winter. So how can we be wax? How can we embody that? How can we take hold of our power, wild ourselves, right? Dr. Gabby will be speaking later about rewilding, right? The divine, like wilding of the bees. Just let a bee be a bee, let a woman be a woman, right? And so who we are innately, or we are naturally, we create magic. We create magic, we're resourceful. We have it in our bodies. We're artists, and collectively we come together. This summit is an embodiment of that. All of us coming together with our different medicines, with our different magic, creating, alchemizing that for, yes, and it's 11/11, how perfect. So there it is, magic as it is. So there's so much more I can unpack. I'm already 3/4 of the way through my talk, but I definitely want to give the space for anyone that may have questions, or Danielle, if you want to chime in and ask any more. Yeah. Let's see. It is, Maricela, it is like a bee-itch swarm, right? Like a bee-itch swarm. Actually, there's something I will quickly talk about, which I realized I didn't touch on, and that's venom. And so venom is a really, really important part of the hive and bee. And so if a bee stings, she's giving her life. So she's not, she's not going down without a fight, literally, because she's going to lose her life if she stings you. And to me, venom represents boundaries. And if you approach a beehive or a bee and you hear that the buzz is very, very, very loud, or it's getting stronger, that's her telling you, hey, step away. Just like take a listen, step away. And they're all connected. If you come close to a hive, move to it like you're moving through honey. Honey's thick, it's dense, but it's also liquid, so it can take shape and form. It's a very delicate substance when you think about it. So in the same way as to approaching a hive, right? And so venom, like being the term bitch, venom is a medicine. Venom has been used to treat Lyme disease and inflammation, but venom, it's not something to be taken lightly. So how can we exercise our own boundaries, and like, what is our venom? What is your venom, right? Because it is an important piece. So I just wanted to touch quickly on that. So Gabby asked, how do you make medicine out of honey? Oh my goodness. Okay, so there's so many different ways. Honey is, as I mentioned, is everlasting. So what I love to do, and this is the easiest recipe, and this is also a really, really great gift for the holidays, FYI. Take garlic cloves, crush them, and put them in honey, and let them sit for 4 weeks. They'll never go bad, and that is a remedy. Whenever I feel sick or whenever I have a sniffle, I just take a garlic clove from my honey and I swallow it or I chew it, and I feel great. And that goes the same for ginger or any herb you like. You can make a honey paste. Just infuse it in honey. Put honey on the pot. Don't let it go beyond 120 to 140 degrees, because it will compromise the nutritional benefits of the honey. And put lavender, put whatever herbs you like, put it in there, and then strain it. Let it sit for like 30 to 45 minutes or longer. Let it sit, strain it, and then you've got herb infused honey. Yes, my IG handle is High Vibration, or highvibration.com. Yeah, we're going to be talking, we talk so much about the bees and the seasons, and we break it down as far as all the different components of a hive, and we create a hive ourselves. What honey do I like to buy? Local honey, local honey, local honey, local honey. For so many reasons. A, because these bees are getting all the honey, all the nutritional value from the honey is from your home, your environment. This is the area you live and breathe in, so that it makes sense. And it supports the local beekeepers. They have a reverence and love for honeys that are very different than the commercial beekeepers. So definitely get from a local beekeeper. And if you're interested in Manuka honey, ladies, 16 plus, 10 plus is okay, but 16 plus, that's the one you have to get. 16 is a magic number, FYI. It can be a little hard to find, but if you're gonna spell the nice, I mean, if you're gonna spend the money on Manuka, do it. Like, it's really, really, really good for you. And also Melipona honey, which is found in Central America, is excellent honey, and it's really good for any, if you have styes or pink eye, it's really, really great as eye drops. Do you have a practice for taking it medicinally? What types of honey made from different types of pollen? Okay, so if you want to get pollen, good pollen, again, honestly, don't buy anything from the hive from the supermarket. Just don't. Go to a beekeeper, or you can email me. If you're able to just get honeycomb, just get the honeycomb. Whatever you find in the honeycomb, it's not honey, it's pollen, because usually the beekeepers extract the honey, and it's really yummy. It kind of tastes like a Pachamama gummy bear. It's gooey, and it has a little bit of like a sandiness to it, but it's delicious. So get a honeycomb. That's the best place to get bee pollen. What honey do I like to buy? Yes, ginger, lemon honey, garlic honey is really, really, really good. And also there are really great recipes online. If you Google fire cider, honey that works really well with medicine with apple cider vinegar. And all you do is just drop a bunch of herbs in there. Onion, garlic, turmeric, peppers, rosemary, thyme, any herbs you like, soak it in vinegar for about 3 to 4 weeks, strain it, mix it with honey, and you will get sick. It's called the Four Thieves vinegar. In the 1400s, during the Black, I think it was 1400s, during the Black Plague in France, there were these thieves that would dig up the bodies in these graves and steal all of their gold. And so when they were caught, the authorities asked them, what was your secret? What was your secret on how you were able to sustain immunity from the plague? And the thieves were like, honey and vinegar. We would soak our herbs in vinegar, mix it with honey, and they were able to play with the dead. So ladies, thank you so much for giving me the space and this time. I am so incredibly grateful. And one thing I will end with, since we're in Scorpio season, you mentioned that, Daniela, is as a beekeeper, I'm not yet a beekeeper, but I am very close to many. And as part of being a beekeeper, it's inevitable that the hive eventually dies. But it is in the death of a hive where we learn the most about the hive, and where we're able to extract the medicine and get the pollen, get the honey, get the propolis, get the wax. And so there is a beauty in the darkness, and the dark energy, the dark space. It's a beautiful space. It's the feminine. So yeah, just wanted to with that.
Wow, wow, wow. What a beautiful, I'm like holding my heart. Like I'm about to you just really touched me so deeply. Thank you so much. Like, oh my gosh, like I feel like I just fell in love with you. Like, absolutely. Thank you so much for this wisdom. I mean, a lot of people were asking, where can I find her? I'm going to put it right in the chat again one more time. It's Alicia Hugh, and let me find it one more again so you guys can find her, and the Hive Vibration also, and www.hivevibration.com. We're going to be going into movement again, getting back in the body. Which is, I feel like we're gonna need that after all this yummy medicine you guys have provided us with, and I can't wait to connect more. I can't wait to talk more about bees, and wow, thank you so much for being part of our community, being a comadre. This is just amazing. I'm just like floored right now. I'm like just taking it all in. So appropriate for Scorpio season, y'all. We will be right back in just about 5 minutes. Just a reminder, Comadres enrollment is open. If you want more of this medicine on a daily basis, joining us for cafecitos, joining us for workshops, for good book club, fellowship, and just having these deep conversations that are so transformative and moving in a safe space with other women who are growth-minded, growth-oriented. This is for you, and we're calling you in. Okay. Thank you so much, Alicia. I can't wait to connect with you more, and we'll see you in just 5 minutes.
Likewise. Bye.
Bye.